Welcome y'all, Wes with DIY Food Plot Pro. Thanks so much for joining us today. I've had a few questions about the alfalfa plot. Some guys wanted to see how it turned out for this fall. So we're out in the alfalfa field. You can see the Egyptian wheat in the background making a plot screen on this. Tickled to death with that. We've had a ton of high wind and that is still standing just fine and dandy. I'm definitely going to expand on that for 2024. I like the fact that it can screen off a plot that normally this would just be in a big agricultural field. You can kind of see a little bit through that plot behind you or that screen behind you, and you can tell that this is just part of a larger agricultural field. This kind of blocks that down a little bit. Getting into the alfalfa, when I seeded this alfalfa early in the fall, we went through about as bad as conditions as you could ask for. Very little rain. We got one great big rain that was real hard and real fast, and that was pretty much it. There's a baby alfalfa coming up. It's been planted 5 days. That's what it looks like when it's emerging right there. Just got a rain last night. And then we were dry for, honestly, we're still dry. The alfalfa did not get the fall growth that I really like to see alfalfa get. Are we going to be able to make it with what we have out here? I'm not sure. We're gonna have to evaluate this spring. I would have liked to have got a lot more growth on my alfalfa. As you can see, it's still green out here right now. Alfalfa will stay green all winter long. It's just not actually growing right now. Very similar to clover in that aspect, but it will green up early spring before just about anything else. Alfalfa and clover will be off to the races. Whitetails have really hit this hard. They've got it mowed down, they've got it chewed down, but the alfalfa was not nearly as established as what I would have liked to have seen going in to this winter. Usually I like to see around 6 weeks of good solid growth out of this alfalfa, just to make sure that that's established to go into the winter period. Really and truly, this alfalfa germed up and then it just sat here and suffered for 5 or 6 weeks. All it did, it really didn't get the rain. We got enough rain to germ it, and that's pretty much it. And so it's not looking the greatest right now. So this is a spot in the alfalfa that's just kind of a bare spot. You can see a little bit of alfalfa, but I never really could get a stand in here. So I don't know if this is just a little bit droughtier or if this had some chemical damage or otherwise, but you can see the difference. And just as soon as you get up here, there's a few plants in there, but for the most part, very little. And then you can see that's the alfalfa right now. And I mean, you can just see, good grief, it's grazed down all the way to the ground. It never got any growth because it didn't hardly rain. So it was suffering through all this spell, and the whitetails were out here eating on it. Now I've got a question or two from guys that are saying, you know, I planted alfalfa, I did everything like you told me to, and they're not eating it yet. Because alfalfa is one of those things, if your deer are not used to that alfalfa, they may not utilize it the very first fall, which is really, that's better, because really you want 5 or 6 weeks of good growth on this alfalfa before you get your freeze or your frost to prevent winter kill. Rest assured, when the spring comes and when the whitetails don't have a whole lot to eat, they are going to absolutely start hammering this stuff. You can tell that we're good and clean. We don't have any grass or weeds growing out here. We worked this seed bed with a chisel plow. We disc it up. And we've got a good stand of alfalfa out here. It's just the fact that it's not as big as what I would like for it to be. I did buy a 50-pound bag. I stored that seed, and I will be going back this spring and trying to fill in a little bit in this area. Now, I know a lot of you have heard me talk about autotoxicity in alfalfa. And what autotoxicity is it prevents other alfalfa plants from germing, from growing in there. It prevents the stand from getting too thick. So if I was to sow this out here, where I've got a good stand of alfalfa, likely very little of it would come up because of the autotoxicity in the ground from that alfalfa. But here, there's very little alfalfa to begin with. Like take this area, for instance, right here. There's literally nothing there. There's no alfalfa there. So it's not likely that that is going to have a lot of autotoxicity built up from those plants over there all the way over here. You can see a lot of little bitty alfalfa plants that are coming up. I mean, there's a pile of them that are already coming up. And so maybe the issue with this little spot was that we were just so dry here all fall long that this alfalfa just never got enough moisture in this soil right here. Maybe this soil is just a little bit droughtier than that soil there, because you do see a lot of little alfalfa there. It's looking really, really good though. I hope we have a mild winter where it can survive through the winter and take off next spring, because we really got a pretty stand out here. And I've already been seeing a lot of whitetails in this plot. So if you're new to this channel, the main thing I do on it is I try to show folks how to have better food plots. I try to steer people away from the pitfalls they get into with having failed food plots. And this is the case, especially with an alfalfa food plot. The fertility needs are extremely high, and they are a must to be in the high range, as well as your pH. The pH must be between 6.5 and 7. Don't try this with a low pH, and this is also one of those crops that you don't want to try to come in here and plant and start doing your fertilizer and stuff a week before and your lime a week before. This is a management intensive crop, not only from the planting aspect, but as far as the clipping, the spraying, the insecticide, the herbicide. Many different variables go into raising a successful alfalfa food plot. And here at DIY Food Plot Pro, this is what I try to strive to teach folks, try to help people learn and try to have more successful food plots on your farm. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Smash that like and subscribe button for some more great content.